That was a bit chaotic. In today's video, we're going to have a look at plantar fasciitis. We're going to try and answer the question why it's sticking around for so long. Maybe it's because it is not a foot problem.
What?
There are many common dysfunctions in runners, and each of these dysfunctions can relate to plantar fasciitis. So we're going to study these common dysfunctions one by one, see how they can affect your foot, and I'm going to give you some exercises to fix them one by one. At the very end of the video, I also have one exercise which I think is the ultimate exercise to fix all of those in one go. So let's have a look at all this. Salut, c'est Stéphane from Safe Motions. It's good to see you again. Thanks for watching me babble about running injuries and their treatments. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe if you like my videos. If you don't like my videos, subscribe. So why does plantar fasciitis stick around for so long? In general, when we have an injury, we tend to focus on where it hurts, but more often than not, an injury, unless it's an accident, would come from several factors put together. So treating just the foot might just not be enough. I'm going to give you my number one exercise to fix most common running dysfunctions. Stick around or just jump to the end of the video for the exercise. In the meantime, we're going to have a look at all the different dysfunctions that are common in runners and how to fix them one by one. For that, I'm going to use my foot. I don't know if you can see this. Let me change the angle. Okay, so plantar fasciitis happens at the bottom of the foot, around this area. The pain would be located sort of around the heel, maybe on the inside. This is the inside of the foot. Something that happens quite commonly in runners is lack of range of motion in the ankle here. You can't bend the leg forward. One of the things that can happen to compensate for that, you see this is the maximum I can go, is to have the heel collapse and the foot rotate outwards so I can go a lot further in bending the knee. This is flattening the foot. This can put a lot of tension in that plantar fascia right here underneath the foot. Another thing that can happen if you lack range of motion here in the ankle is as you run, this is the back foot, as it tries to push off the floor, because you can't bend that back leg sort of forward, you're going to tend to lift the heel way too early, creating a lot of tension in that plantar fascia. So what you need to do to fight against this is stretching all the muscles that are behind. These are the calf muscles and the Achilles tendon. You need to stretch those. Another common tightness in runners is hamstrings. Runners have notoriously tight hamstrings. So what does that do? It makes the whole back of the leg really stiff, so you're hitting the floor a little too soon. That means you're spending more time with your foot on the floor than you should. If your hamstrings are tight, you need to stretch your hamstrings. If you spend most of your day sitting down, then also your hip flexors will become short and tight. They will adapt to that seated position. So that means when your hips are roughly at that angle, these muscles will tend to adapt and get shorter. Now you can see here my glutes, they go from there to there, are in a lengthened position. We sit on them all the time. We need to try and focus on getting those glutes stronger. So let's have a look at the exercises that we can do to fix all of this. We're going to start with the glute exercise. You're going to stand on one leg and then drop the hip, the opposite hip, down towards the floor. So the line of your t-shirt should be tilted, just like on the insert video right there. And you're going to lift the opposite side up as high as you can and do repetitions like that. Going into our stretches, you want to stretch the hip. So that's really simple. You're going to do a forward lunge, and that should stretch the hip on the back leg. You really want to feel the stretch at the top of your leg. Moving on, we talked about stretching the hamstrings. This is how I suggest that you do that. Just standing, finding yourself maybe a sidewalk or a chair or anything that's elevated, and you're going to put your heel on that elevated surface. And all you need to do is sort of tilt your pelvis forward. You don't need to bend all the way down, and you should feel a stretch in the back of your leg from that position. Now, getting closer to that foot, we talked about stretching the calves. This is how I suggest to do it. So there you have it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves to help you with plantar fasciitis, taking a step back and viewing your body as an overall unit as opposed to a foot. My friend who's a fellow runner, Reto, I'll put the link to his channel right here on the screen and in the description. He has recently suffered from plantar fasciitis and has recovered fully. And in his video, he shows his technique to recover entirely from plantar fasciitis. Go check out his channel. It's awesome.
What did I learn from my plantar fasciitis injury?
I just realized I completely forgot to give you that one favorite exercise that I have to fix everything, all the problems in the world. If you've been watching my videos, you already know this exercise. It's called leg swings. You can do that standing or lying down. Let's have a look. You're going to stand on one leg. Make sure that your hip is not dropping, that everything's horizontal basically. Now the way you do your leg swings, what's important about it is that as you swing your leg backwards nice and slow, you want to make sure that you're engaging your glutes. You want to squeeze that glute muscle. If you can do that in front of a mirror, it's even better, so you can have a look at what your body is doing at the same time. Also at the beginning, it's completely okay to hang on to something so you don't lose your balance. Let's see how we can do that lying down. This may look easy, but try it out, you'll see. For me, keeping that leg off the floor after a few repetitions gets really tough. Now lying on your side, you want just the top leg to be doing that leg swing. You can use your hands or your other leg to balance yourself. And basically the top leg, the leg that's moving, you want to make sure it's completely horizontal. It doesn't go down towards the floor or up towards the sky. So there you have it. I hope you learned something new and that you've enjoyed the video. I know a lot of you have had plantar fasciitis already. If you've got any tips on how you beat it, please comment down below. It can be helpful and I'm curious about it. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe so I can pay for my internet bill so I can post videos. Again, I really hope this was useful to you and I'll see you in another video. À bientôt!